Hi guys, I am back. I am showing y'all a video today on wax. Now I'm hoping this will work because I'm doing these videos in my kitchen on my countertop that my husband and I just did pretty much for this reason. And I'm not in my actual wax room, but for this part I don't need the wax to be piping hot actually. What I'm fixing to do is show y'all how I decorate my ramekins. So what I'm doing right now, this wax is getting a pretty solid for me. I want this to, I'm going to whip it up in a minute with my little mini blender here and create frosting. And then I have my little pumpkins here. I'm just going to use one, but they're so stinking cute. And if you look, hope this is in camera. You can see that I went in and I've hand painted it, just kind of darkened in between each one of the little rims just to try to give us a more realistic look. And that's what I'm going for. So, and I'm holding this in every direction. I hope that y'all can see that. No, not a professional production here. All right, so this is getting to the point to where I feel like I can start whipping it now. Just want to mix it up a little bit, and I just realized something. Excuse me for stepping away. So one thing that I do need to do before I get this whipped, because as soon as it becomes frosting, it needs to hit the top of the ramekin. Now this ramekin's really cute. It's 3 layers. This is fragrance, Tiffany's Best Fragrance of Fall that I'm doing right now. But we have orange, and then there's like a champagne gold, and then I'm topped it with brown because I want that to look like dirt as part of a pumpkin patch that I'm trying to create. I may actually have to pause this video and go melt this again slightly, just to get rid of any parts that are chunking up on me while I'm taking too long getting prepared. So I don't know if y'all can see what I'm doing here, but I've just cut the tip off of one of these Wilton reusable. Actually, they're disposable. I call them reusable because I'm super frugal and I do reuse them a lot. So I just cut off the end of that, and then I love to use these Wilton M1 or 1M, one of the two. It's M1 something, a 1 and an M. And then I don't even use one of the little, oh, I can't think of what they're called, but they're white and they go down here, and then you can change tips. Not for this, I don't do that. So just push that down there, and then open it up, push it, just kind of rolling to get it ready for the whipped wax. So I may have to go and heat. I've got some pretty, yeah, that's not going to go through. That is absolutely not going to go through. I've waited too long here. Let me heat this up real quick. I just need to add a little bit of heat to it, and I can stir it real good and get those whipped out of there. I'll be right back. Just noticed this is way out of camera for y'all. There you go. All right, I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. Talking and allowing that to get so cool. Alright, so what I've done is just added a touch of heat. I don't like to heat this back up all the way because it can flesh out the fragrance oil, so you have to be real careful when you're reheating wax, and that's why I don't like to do it. So I've got it to like a wax slurry here. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and try to whip this up with my little hand mixer. I don't normally use this one, but this is such a small batch of wax, and I don't even know if my other whisk mixer will even fit in here. So I'm going to attempt this. This is trial and error, and this wax may end up in my melter, and I may start completely over if this doesn't work. Alright, so here we go. As you can see, it's real smooth and creamy. Just going to whip that up. Can y'all see that, I hope? And what we're going for here is a frosting consistency. And it's a very, 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 very quick thing that happens. So I'm just going to whip this up. What we're doing is adding air just like whipping cream. So it's also incorporating air that's going to cause that wax to cool off and get lumpy quickly. As you can see, it looks really smooth and creamy right now. It's, oh, oops, that just sloshed a little bit. We're getting there slowly. It's hard to believe that's wax, huh? It really just depends on what kind of wax you use, what additives you add as to how good of a whipped cream you'll get. I found that the ratios of wax and kinds of wax that I use tend to whip up really nice. And this is 100% paraffin wax. I don't use soy. I don't have any issues with soy. I just prefer the throw and the flexibility with the paraffin wax. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get a spoon and I'm going to scoop this in here. And we're going to go ahead and decorate the top with some whipped cream. Now I have to consider that I do have the dome lid, and I don't want this to be piled up too high so that the dome lid will crush my pumpkin. I don't want that to happen. So let me get a spoon here. And then I'm just going to scoop it up. Maybe I'll whip it up a little bit. It's so hot it's melting. It's going back and remelting itself. I may not be able to whip this like I want to. Dadgummit. With that, my little whisk here. But I'm sorry I'm not showing y'all right now, but I'm trying to save it. Give me just a second. Now this is going to pipe out and it's going to look a whole lot lighter green, but I'm going to add some glitter and some other elements to allow for the grass, which is what this is supposed to be a little bit darker. Alright, so I'm going to try this again. Yeah, that's better. So I'm just going to scoop it into the bag here. I hope y'all can see. I'm sorry I don't have a big tablet or fancy video set up. I'd love to, but you have to crawl before you can walk, right? Alright, so that I'm going to save for the leaves. And I doubt I will use all of this. So now that I've got this in here, I'm just going to push it down. And then I take my little ramekin here. And one thing that I do like to do, I'll use the back of this spoon, is anytime this wax is still warm here too, so they will adhere to each other. They'll eventually merge together. But just to make sure that I have a good hold, I do like to scratch the top of the wax. That way it goes into crevices and it kind of works like a tongue and groove hardwood floor. They meld together. So here we go. Want to start with a big old dollop right on top. Then we're just going to go around here. And all I'm trying to do is create a bed for that pumpkin. I really, it doesn't have to even look like pretty frosting on top like you would if it were a cupcake per se. Because I'm just trying to get an area for my pumpkin. So I want to take my pumpkin here. And because this wax is hot, I'm just going to set it right on down. Right in the middle and on top. I want it to be nestled down in there so that the heat from this wax will adhere to this. Now, what I've done here is I've taken my green wax and I just used a pipette and sucked some hot wax up in there and let it get to a point where if I did that, it wasn't rolling back on itself. It wasn't moving. And then I just took my fingers and I pushed on my pipette like this as I drug, and I created some vines out of wax. So this is an idea. I have never done this before, so let's find out if this is going to work. I just want the vines to kind of be, you know, kind of going in and out and around so that it looks like that it's kind of going through and just kind of sticking it wherever it looks cool. I'm going to come back and I'm going to try to pipe some of the vines that look like they are specifically on top. Now see how that looks? That's kind of cool. So you see I'm just going to come in here and it's still warm. Just kind of lay it on there. It doesn't have to be perfect, and yeah, sometimes they're going to break, but that's why they call it trial and error. Alright guys, so I'm going to come back around on this side. I'm going to get me some of my vine going through there. Okay. And just a couple more. Oops, I didn't have to break on me. It's starting to get a little bit harder down there, so a little bit more pressure. And then I also have these little pumpkin flowers. Just little things that make a big difference, that are really cute. Here's one of the, there's one right here. Now these aren't actual pumpkin flowers, it just happens to be a mold that I had that I thought, well, these are cute. And they're close enough. The pumpkin flower actually has 4 leaves and some of these have 6. So I'm just trying to place these like in an area where I have 2 vines that don't come together. Let's just try to hide that imperfection. Okay, so I have plenty of this left over. What I'm going to do is squirt it back in my little thing here. And I'm sure y'all can't see this, but just squirting it back in here as best I can. Now, normally I would rinse out this bag and I would reuse this bag, but for video time's sake, whoops, that just crept all over my table. All right, I went ahead and I grabbed a second bag. So I'm going to knock this back down. I'm going to heat it back up a little bit. And for this bag, I am going to do my vines. And then I don't think I'm going to pipe leaves. I have these cute little, I mean, they're not necessarily pumpkin leaves, but they're cute, pretty green leaves that I'm going to use to decorate the top that are glittery, and then we'll add some glitter. And y'all can see the final look, and it smells absolutely phenomenal. This is one of my favorites, Tiffany's Best Fragrance of Fall. This is a blend of Cupcakes at Tiffany's, Bath & Body Works, marshmallow, pumpkin, vanilla marshmallow, vanilla pumpkin marshmallow, that's what it is, type, and then also the pumpkin pecan waffles from Bath & Body Works. Alright guys, so give me just a minute. I'm going to go ahead and get this ready, and we'll get started on those vines. I'll be right back. Alright, I'm back, and as you can see, I have another little wax slurry. This is basically what was squirted out of the other bag that I used to do the base of the pumpkin patch. So I'm just going to whip this up real quick. I don't need it whipped up nearly as much. It doesn't need to hold its shape as much as the base, the frosting look does, because I'm just trying to get little vines out of it. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a couple of buzzes with my little blender here. Just whip some air in there, just kind of get it into a somewhat frosting consistency. It doesn't have to be as stabilized as the frosting does. Sorry I get so tongue-tied. It's old age, I guess. Alright, so here we go. I'm just going to go ahead, and this is, as you can see, it's pretty well whipped up, and it's pretty much holding its shape, but it's still a little warm, but I don't think that's going to hurt anything for this particular application. Yeah, this is going in here just a little bit soupier than the other, which that's pretty much what I was anticipating. I don't need it to be as stabilizing where it'll hold its shape as much, because I'm just doing little vines. Alright, here we go. I start over here just to check. Oh yeah, this is going to be really nice. So I really don't want to, oh come on, stopping up on me. That's what I don't want. Alright, so let's, ooh, that almost looks like a leaf there. Yeah, this is, come on. I was hoping this would work, but it doesn't look like it's going to. So irritating. One little tiny chunk of wax is all it takes. And I can see it trying to come on out of there. Oh, there it goes. All right. There we go. So just a little vine. Oh, come on. I may squirt the vine on the thing and then put it on the... Y'all see ideas come to fruition. This is not doing like I was hoping it would. Oh, that's what I was scared of. Now I gotta let that cool off. And pull it right off of there. Alright guys, give me a minute. See how easy this cleans up though? I thought I was gonna have to do this off camera, but actually, nope. Just comes right on off of there with a little encouragement. All right, let's do this the other way. I'm determined. I want my vines up there. I just think it will take it to the next level, and I'm all about next leveling it all the time. All right. Oh, look, I have my brush right here. For such emergencies, just come in here and clean that right on out of there. You'll probably think, why? It's just wax. These are my little masterpieces, y'all. It's not just wax to me. I'm a different kind of wax addict. I do love the fragrance and all of that, but I love to push. Ooh, looky there. I think I haven't. Let's try this again. Oops. Get that one off. Yep, these two are fine. And then I'm going to take my little leaves here. Oh, these need to be the final touch. First of all, let me try to give it some color with some glitter here. And as you see, I'm just pumping that right on in there. Going around, darkening up the grass a little. And then just for realism, I like to use two different colors just for highlight, low light, you know. The artist in me. And then my favorite, I love the fairy dust. The fairy dust is so beautiful, but so flipping airborne. And I even hit the flowers with a little fairy dust because it's just so pretty. Sparkle that pumpkin up a little bit. And finally, let's come in here and add some leaves. Y'all please know my hands are clean. They are absolutely clean. I wash them well before I handle y'all's wax, and I also always have hand sanitizer. And after they're washed, I use my hand sanitizer. When I make the soaps and things like that, I always wear my gloves. But gloves, they impede me. That's not. They, I guess impede is a good word. They just annoy me. They get in my way. They prevent me from being able to be as creative as I want to be sometimes. So, I really prefer to work without them if I can. Now I think I'm going to have to come back with a little dollop of some wax. And I'm going to melt it down in just a second and come back in and make sure that everything's going to stick. So I'm going to place my leaf over here where I want it. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead, I have my heat gun right here. Clean up my mess. I'm going to grab this little dollop of wax there. Use my heat gun. And this little bit, I'm not worried about flashing the fragrance out of it. I want it to be melted. It's such a tiny amount, and it's not going to flash the fragrance completely. But adding heat to wax, just as like it being in a warmer, it can flash your fragrance. So this heat gun is a 300 degrees on low, and I think it's 700 degrees on high. It's not one of the really high dollar ones that some people use. All right, so we're almost done. I'm just going to take a little bit of this in a pipette here. I'm going to come in here and just do a dollop right there where that leaf is, and then a tiny little bit right there at the end of that vine, and hold that leaf down. And then I'm going to just dollop a little bit here and there where my vines are, trying my best to hide that I'm using wax to glue this together. But it's wax, y'all. I can't make it perfect, but I do try. You got to give me credit for trying. Okay. Okay, so here we are with the final product, and I wanted to show you this on the 360 turntable so y'all could see it from all directions. This weighs about 5.5 ounces. It's real hard with these being handmade. I can't exactly measure every single amount of whipped cream and vine, so they may be a little bit between, I would think 5.4 and 5.6 ounces roughly. They will be available on September 13th. And they will be for the pre-order. So I hope y'all enjoyed this video. It's really been fun for me, and I am still learning. But if you do like the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and hit the bell and ding and the notifications and all that stuff so you can see our next videos.